Good afternoon and welcome to another webinar Simply Mail Solutions has been doing over the last 18 months. They're aimed at learning and advising of products that we do and other services that you might benefit with your business, or if you're an individual having services from Office 365. My name is Martin. I'm going to be guiding you through today's webinar, and we will be discussing one of the key aspects, which is security, and what services that you can enable within 365 and some paid for add-on services as well. So let's get started. As we always do, we always say SMS, we're here to help. That's our #1 priority. Customer service is our main goal, and we deliver services and support where people need it. And obviously, if you have any problems, we are here to help. We are an all-in-one cloud service provider, so it is an area that we are experts in. And if you have any questions, no question is a silly question, just pick up the phone or raise a ticket with us and we'll be happy to help you. And where possible, we can always try and provide functionality that you might not already have, that's like free add-ons and things like that, that could benefit your business. So today's webinar is about security on Office 365, and this is just a quick summary of the areas that we're going to be covering today. The first one is going to be security defaults and what they are. The next one is multi-factor authentication, on what this is and why you want to use it. There's also a self-service password reset, and then there's some paid for add-on services, including Windows Defender for 365, Azure Information Protection, Intune, and there's an optional one, which is Microsoft Enterprise Mobility and Security. So let's start with security defaults. So what are security defaults? Security defaults is basically a set of security mechanisms built inside Office 365, in fact, inside Azure itself. And what that basically does is it allows you to protect your account to a very basic level to start with, to a more advanced level. So when this is turned on, it requires what's known as multi-factor authentication, which we'll be discussing next, where when a user signs in, they have to use multiple methods to sign in. It's basically, the way it works is when it's enabled and you've set up MFA, it will basically require you to use a one-time code, or you'll get an alert on your phone to actually sign into your account. By default, this is actually turned on. Now, when it's turned on, it does block certain less secure protocols and authentication methods, such as basic authentication and things like POP and IMAP. So what you'd have to do in order, if you're using POP and IMAP, you'd have to use what's known as an app password, and that will be generated via multi-factor authentication, and that allows you then to use POP and IMAP and things and services such as that. So it is basically just a set of effectively mechanisms to protect your account to the sort of like the first level to a more advanced level. And like I say, it is actually something that is enabled by default. It can be turned off. We don't recommend it. However, there is people out there that do want it turned off, and all they want is a box standard, just a password to sign in. And we can do that for you. It is literally just a toggle on and off, basically, and that's it. And it's pretty much instant when you turn it off. We do recommend customers who do actually turn this on if it's off already. If you're not sure how to check this, you can do this via Azure Active Directory, which we can provide guidance on. But it is simply a case of going into Azure Active Directory, and it's within the properties, and there's an option for security defaults, and that will actually turn that on for you. When you if it's on and you want to turn it off, when you turn it off, it will ask you why you want to turn it off. There's a couple of options, one of them being you're getting too many notifications to sign in with multi-factor. So you do have the option to turn that off, but like I previously just said, we recommend that you keep that on, and that will secure your account and just gives you additional security to prevent any sort of unauthorized access, for example, or it being hacked, for example. So we'd move on to then would be multi-factor authentication. So what this basically is, this is still fairly new. I mean, it's been around for a while, but it's still fairly new in the world. Some people might see it as two-factor authentication. You might get this with your banking, or you might get it with certain websites that use it. I mean, Amazon use it and places like that. But all the multi-factor basically means is it's just a multiple way of signing in. So you'd have basically multiple levels to sign in. So you'd have your password, for example, and then you could get, say, a text message with a code, or you get a phone call, or you use the Authenticator app. And what multi-factor basically does is it provides additional layer of security for your Office 365 account, and basically that makes the account effective. It's sort of like the securest it can be. There is other levels that you can add when you start getting into 365. You can add things like conditional access and things like that. But for an individual, it reduces the risk of things like security breaches, does secure your account, and the recommended program to use with it is the Microsoft Authenticator app, which is available for both Android and iOS. It does require a one-time code, but if you're using the official Microsoft Authenticator app and not, say, the Google one, or there's several different Authenticator apps, you can actually set it up to send you a notification. And what that basically does is you will get a notification on your handset, and it will say, you're trying to sign in, do you want to approve this? You can tap approve, and then it will use, for example, on an iPhone, it will either use Face ID or Touch ID to authenticate you to sign in. So there's no code that you have to enter, and there's no password. You enter your password to get to the point of the authenticator, but you don't have to enter another password basically when you get that. It's a lot quicker. And there is an option as well on multi-factor where you can actually opt in as an admin to say, remember this machine for 60 days, 90 days. I believe it goes up to about, I think it goes up to something like 120 days from memory. So you don't have to keep putting an authenticator in, all the time. That option's off by default, but it can be turned on as and when you need it. There is multiple other levels that you can do. So if you don't want to get a notification, you don't want to use the Microsoft Authenticator, say you want to use the Google one because that's where all your multi-factor codes are, or whichever vendor that you use, you can get it to generate, you can actually put the code inside there as well, so that will work with other applications. But if you don't want to use any authenticator app, you can use text message, and it will just send you a text notification with a 6-digit code, or you can get a phone call. The phone call option though is off by default. That has to be enabled by an admin. So by default, you can only use either an authenticator app or a text message, but we could turn call on for you. Prefer to get a phone call with a code. But once it's enabled, it's literally it's on, and it's set up and ready to go. It is just a case as an admin to go into multi-factor and basically tick the users that you want to enable it on. If security defaults is on, however, you will need to enable it for everyone. So basically just turn that on when they first sign in, and it has to be done via webmail or via the portal.office.com. They'll sign in and they'll say, there's been a change made, you need to set up multi-factor authentication, and it's a case of clicking next, and it will tell you everything you need to do online. We do have a knowledge base article on it on how to enable it as an admin and a user. So you can refer to them from kb.simplyms.com. You'll get the information that you need there, or just give us a call and we'll go through it with you. But that's basically multi-factor authentication. Once it is enabled as well, you can go into your security settings in your own account, and you can add additional options in there. So you can add things like, if you've added, say, a phone number and you're using an authenticator app, but you decide you want to have another level, say an email address, say your phone gets lost, for example, and you're thinking, how am I going to get into my account because my phone's gone missing, or you've lost it, or it's been stolen, then basically you can actually put another method in. You can put email, so you can send the code to an alternative email address that's not your 365 one. And you can also enable what's known as an app password, which I previously mentioned, which is basically just a way of connecting legacy systems into 365. So if you say, for example, we do get people that have a Plan 1 mailbox, but they don't want to use the full Exchange. They use, say, Thunderbird or something like that. Then you'd have to have an app password for that to work, because that gets basically around the multi-factor, because that app password isn't your own password. It's a randomly generated password from Microsoft that's unique to that particular device that you're connecting. So when you set it up, you can actually put on it, say, this is for Thunderbird, for example, or whichever application, or if you've got devices, for example, like a print to scan situation where you have to have a password to authenticate, multi-factor, your app password would have to be used for that as well. So that's something that's it is worth taking a note of. If you are going to enable it, you do need to make sure that you do need that password. But if you have trouble and you've got a device that it's not working, we can support you to the level of getting access to the password, to making sure it works. But you may have to check with vendors of third-party devices if they are compatible with MultiFactor, because there is still some out there that aren't. So self-service password reset. This is something that we've not really covered before, because by default this option's turned off, which my own personal opinion is I think it should be something that's turned on. And we are starting to see more and more people asking for it to be turned on. So basically, people might say, well, what is SSPR? Well, basically what that is that allows you as a user to reset your password without the admin or without whoever's responsible for your user base from an admin point of view. And what that basically does is when it's turned on, it allows you to reset your own password, just like you can with, say, you forget your Amazon password, for example. You can do a password reset online, like you can with most online forms. This particularly does the same thing. So when you set this up, when it's turned on, and you set it up, you log into your account. If multi-factor is actually turned on already, you will already have the email address or alternative details such as a phone number already on your account, so you won't have to add them again. But if you don't have MFA turned on and you just want this turned on, you can do that. But what you'll have to do is when you first sign in via the portals, portal.office.com, it will ask you to add 2 methods or verification details. So it'll ask you for a phone number and an alternative email address that's not on 365. So once they're added, what that basically allows you to do then is, if you forget your password for 365, you can click, forgot password on the login form, and it will ask you for one of their methods. Sometimes it'll ask you for both. So it'll actually send you an email with a code on it that you have to use, and same for the text message. And then once that's been verified that it proves it's you, it will then allow you to change the password online. It is very easy to set up. It is literally a case of turning it on, and that's it. And the beauty of it is it can be enabled for all your users or only certain users, and you can actually go into, and it's all managed via Azure AD. And you just turn it on. If you only want, say, managers to have the ability to do that, you can select, you can put it onto selected and then choose the users that you want to add to it, because we do get sometimes in situations where I don't want the general user to be able to do that. I only want management to do it. So you can allow that. You can't set it to be able to reset your users' passwords. It's just for that account that you sign into. So that's basically all it's for. It's basically, it allows you to use the forgot password option on the login screen. That's basically all it's for. So you can't reset other people's password. You need to be either a user or global admin to do that. And then I say once it's enabled, it will just work. When you need it, it will let you reset the passwords. And you have to provide 2 methods to actually use it. So moving on to some of the paid services that we offer, them 3 that I've just mentioned are a part of 365, regardless of what plan that you have. You can turn them on free of charge. There's no cost for them. But these ones that I'm going to be discussing now are actually paid for add-on services that you can add to go along with the existing account that you've got. So this particular one is called Microsoft Defender for Office 365, and this has had a rebrand over the last few months. It was originally called ATP, or Advanced Threat Protection. Microsoft decided to rename it to something similar to another product, so it can be sometimes confusing. So basically, they call it Microsoft Defender for Office 365, and all this basically is the anti-spam service, anti-malware service you get with, say, a Plan 1 or standard or basic. It is very good at what it does. It does protect you against the majority of threats out there. But if you want to have more advanced features and more advanced scanning, where it scans not just one scanning engine, it scans multiple scanning engines. So they are the engines that scan for viruses, because you could get say 10 scanning engines that say this email's clean, but then you could get one that says actually this is a virus that's just been made aware of. That's basically what Defender does. It scans multiple engines to make sure that mail is basically clean, and it will scan for malware. And malware includes things like phishing. It covers things like targeted mail that you know, these ransom like typeware emails that you get, and obviously it's a full-fledged anti-spam service. It is completely done in real time. The monitoring and reporting is in real time. The if you're a global admin, or you are let's say a compliance admin or a security admin, you can go into the portal and go into the security center, and in there, when this is actually turned on, you get a load of settings in there that you can actually alter. But there's also a reporting section that shows you in-depth detail on how many emails, say, you've had, if this service is enabled. But you can actually see how many, say, emails have been spoofed, for example, if you've got spoofing turned on, and you can look how many threats you've had in real time. It's a very good service to have, and it offers the ability to do things like scanning links. Now, what that basically does is you could get an email from, say, your bank, for example, and it looks genuine, but in reality it's not, and the link on it actually takes you to a website demanding for money. What that will basically do is it will scan that link against multiple engines and say that's a rogue link, that's not safe. And when you click on the link, you'll get a web page that comes up it's in bright red, and it'll say, warning, this link is not safe, we're not continuing. It basically stops dead from continuing onto that, basically. The link itself will get renamed. It normally gets renamed to safelinks.office.com, and then there's a load of characters at the end of it. That can be customized as an admin. You can actually add known allowed links to the actual filter to prevent them being scanned, because sometimes you can get false positives. You can get a situation where you'll get a link that's basically genuine, but it thinks it's not, even though it is. So what you can do is it's like a bit of a training session, basically. You can add known links that you go on as a company to an allowed list, and they won't get scanned. It'll just let you go onto them, basically. But the actual service itself has saved me a few times, because I personally use it as well. And it is some emails that do look genuine. The guy getting very, very clever now as well, even for professionals to notice as well. The other service that you get with it is known as Safe Attachments, and that does a similar thing to the links. It basically scans all your attachments. If it's a virus, it rips it out, and it'll advise you of that. There is, as an admin, you can customize that, so you can get it to deliver the message without the attachment. Then the attachment is scanned, and if it's okay, you then get another email that will have the attachment included, or you can have it sent to an admin to approve. There's various different options, or you can just have it monitoring for, say, a virus or whatever. So you can actually do that with it. It's a very good service. The safe links and attachments by default aren't turned on when the service is activated, but when we provision it for you, we just enable the default service. We just enable the default policy, basically, and then you can customize it, or you can ask us what's the best thing to do. We can only advise of what we would do, because we don't know. Obviously, your business might operate differently, so we will ask you a few questions about how you operate, just to give you the best service we could possibly give. What it also, as well, it protects SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams data. So anything inside there, from links to attachments, will be protected by Microsoft Defender. So it is a very good service to get, and it does come in two versions, Plan 1 and Plan 2, which we will discuss the differences shortly. So here's the plans that I was just mentioning. So basically, it comes in two versions. You've got Plan 1 and Plan 2. So Plan 1 is just the bog standard out of the box version that you get. This protects emails, collaboration from zero-day malware, phish, and business email compromise. So you'll get the safe links, you'll get the safe attachments, you'll get some reporting on that. The Plan 2 is more advanced, so you get a lot more. So you get everything in Plan 1, plus you get things like post-breach investigation, hunting, response, as well as automated and simulations for testing. So you can actually get a lot more in-depth reporting, and you can actually you can get like a map that shows you where all the malwares come from and all the spam that you're getting, and it's in real time as well. That's basically what you get at Plan 2. That's just, let's say, it just gives you more. It's more of gives you more sort of admin control, because you get more reporting and analysis and things like that, basically, with that particular version. So another service that you can get on is called Azure Information to Protect, or we call it AIP for short. And that is just a cloud-based solution that helps secure email documents and sensitive data that you share outside of your company. So it is something you might want to look at if you do send a lot of important or confidential information outside of your business, like legal companies or finance or something like that, or health. You can basically classify and embed labels into documents and protect them. So you can actually, there is an add-on that you can get for Office that you install, and what you can do is when you're working on a document, you can actually label it and say this is confidential and set permissions for only certain people to be able to see that. So it sort of like restricts them from basically other people from viewing it, basically. Like I say, it classifies the documents and emails with labels. You can label emails as well to say they're confidential or sensitive for only certain people, and you can set the permissions on, like I say, who you want to be able to see that, that you send out basically or internally. You can also send encrypted emails as well. So what that allows you to do within Outlook, you'll get the encryption icon, which is similar to the one that's on screen. And what that allows you to do is you can actually send the email fully encrypted to whoever. So if you've got a contract that's very sensitive to only that person that you sent to can see, you can actually encrypt the email, which means that when they receive it, they'll get an email saying someone sent you an encrypted email. In order to view this, you need to click the link and enter a temporary code. You click the link and it will send you a temporary code. You put that in and then you can view it through online, basically, the actual message. The beauty of the actual encryption method is you can actually opt to not allow the mail to be forwarded. So you can actually disable forwarding. So when that message is received, they can't forward it on to anyone. It can only be with them. So you can actually restrict it on that point of view as well. But the AIP service is purely, like I say, it's a way of securing emails, documents, and data that you have within your organization from when you send it externally, or when it's so only the people you want to see it can see it. So it, like I say, so you can classify the documents to make them secure and give permissions to whoever you need to be able to see them. So it is a service that we are starting to see more people take out because they do like the ability that they can classify documents and use the encryption. And it is something we are selling quite a lot of at the moment. So Intune is another service that you can take out. Now this is another cloud-based service, as all the services in 365 generally are, and it focuses on mobile device management or mobile application management, so MDM or MAM for short. And this controls how your organization's devices are used within your business. So these things include phones, tablets and laptops. You can actually control via policy what that user is allowed to do. So you can restrict them from doing things like sending emails to people outside the organization, which some places still do actually do. You can only send internal emails. You can see what software is on the device. You can push updates out that way. It's multi-platform. It's effectively like a control system for your users on their portable devices, so you can restrict what they're able to do from a policy level on a mobile device or application that you're using. So you can really restrict that down to only say, well, you can only access this, this, and this. You can only do this, this, and this. Intune is another product that we are selling quite a lot of at the moment, especially with a lot of people working from home, and some people are using their own devices or company devices. They want to be able to restrict what that user is able to do to prevent unauthorized breaches of data. So it is a service that is worth enabling. We can get that sorted out for you and give you any support that you may need on enabling that. But it is, once it's turned on, it's a case of just going to the endpoint manager, and you can actually set everything up there within 365 itself. So Intune for admins, this is just a bit more detail on what I've just mentioned. So when you actually sign into Intune, you can actually see what devices are enrolled, and you get a complete inventory of everything that you have within your organization that's accessing your resources. So it gives you like an overview of who's connecting on your particular system itself, and it allows you to basically configure devices to meet security and health standards. So, for example, if you have an Android device that's rooted, you can block them. If you've got an iOS device that's jailbroken, you can actually say, well, you're not accessing my network because the device isn't secure. So you can block things like that. You can push certificates out that allows you to use certain Wi-Fi networks. So you can actually create a certificate that'll basically say, well, you can only connect these Wi-Fi networks, or this VPN to connect to your network, your local network within the office, that is. And you can do things like see reports on users and devices, and make sure that they're compliant, and ones that aren't compliant. And the ones that aren't compliant, you can do a complete overview on them, and you can make sure that they become compliant. You can remove data from devices. If it's, say, someone loses their tablet or their phone, for example, or laptop, you can actually send a request to delete the actual data that's on the device. So if someone gets it, you're not going to get any unauthorized data losses, basically. So it is a full control of the device, and as long as the device itself is enrolled in Intune, you have pretty much control over what on that device itself. It is a very good service to have, and it is something that people might want to consider adding to the business to protect their data and their staff. So this is just like an add-on that I've added just at the end of the webinar. This is more of an enterprise solution, but this basically, Mobile Enterprise Mobility and Security, or EMS for short, is effectively very similar to the previous two products that I've just discussed. So what it does is it combines AIP and Intune together, as well as things like system management software and advanced threat analysis, and it basically protects your workforce a lot better than just having the individual two programs, because it goes to the next level. It's effectively like them on steroids. So it gives you greater protection, detection, response, and capabilities. And you can increase security with Windows 10, for example, and 365. And you can effectively get a lot more reporting out of the system with this particular service enabled. We do see some of our larger customers using this service because obviously it combines AIP and Intune, and obviously a lot of the advanced features that you can get. There's two plans available, E3 and E5, and E5 pretty much comes with a lot more reporting. E3 comes with just the basics that you need. E5 is more advanced reporting, and you get more control over what you can set things for apps to run correctly with policies and things like that. So that's all cloud based. But EMS is just something I wanted to add to the end of the webinar, just to let people know that there is a service out there that will do it, that combines two of the products together, plus a load of other benefits for security if you're really security conscious. So EMS is something that you might want to look into, and if you have any questions about it, just let us know. So we always do this at the end of the webinars. It's how does SMS fit in, and who we are. So basically, SMS has been here since 2006, providing internet solutions. We are everything in the cloud business. We always have been. We've been providing mailboxes since 2006, and we obviously we're here to support your requirements and your needs. We are fully UK based for both support and sales. Our support team is available 24/7 via tickets, and the phone is available Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, excluding bank holidays. And all the products that we sell, we have used in some way, some more advanced than others. But we do know a lot about the products that we sell, and we can help you if you have any problems with it. We have seen several different little sort of issues that may crop up with certain things, and we know how to resolve them and get them fixed. We are professionals in our field within this industry, and we are happy to help and listen to whatever anyone needs requirements. We'll be able to advise on how you can get around a specific problem, if it's possible, if it's not possible, what you can do to try and get around it, and that's basically what we're here for. Our customer service is our #1 priority to our business, and we are here to help. So that concludes today's webinar. I just want to thank everyone for watching. My name's been Martin. If you need to contact us, sales can be contacted on 01925 818 252. Sorry, that's support, sorry. And sales is 01925 818 448. Support, there's 252, apologies. Online is simplymailsolutions.com. You can open a ticket via portal.simplyms.com, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel at smstv.simplyms.com, where we do publish content on a regular basis. We hold the webinars every fortnight, so stay tuned for further updates. But like I say, once again, I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and take care, and we will speak soon.